If you don't have money to tip your server and you go out to eat and don't tip your server, I have zero respect for you. I am a server making 5 something an hour, and I live off of your tip. I don't care how many tables I have, how busy I look. I don't care. 9 times out of 10, I'm not making the money that you think I'm making. And it's crazy because there's so many servers out there, and there's no awareness for this, it feels like. Like, the server industry does not get enough credit for how hard this shit is. It is not easy. It's back-breaking work.
The tipping thing, I haven't worked in the industry, and I think to rely on that. It's fun when you make tips. It's fun being on a tip when you make money. It's not when you don't, when people don't tip. And the thing that people forget sometimes is that, well, here in Canada, the tipping is not mandatory, actually. It's very suggested, but it goes according to the service that you have. If you work at a spot and your manager doesn't put enough people on that spot, and then your tip suffers. Your tip suffers because you cannot cater to all those tables. Sometimes I don't tip, not because I have to tip. And some servers like take it in, they take it as you have to tip. I actually have to tip according to the service. If your service was bad, it goes with the service. That's what the thing is with tipping. You understand? And I went to a restaurant, and when one of my friends didn't tip, and then the server came back and was like, was there something wrong with the service? And I think that that's the proper way to go about that. When you don't receive the amount of tips that you think, you can be like, was there something wrong with the service? If the person goes, no, then there goes your problem. But if the person says, yeah, there was, which my friend did, you did this, that, orders was wrong, and that, so I didn't give you 15, I gave you 10. You got a tip. So there's a thing about the tipping thing. There's really a thing about that. Now, there's a whole other conversation to have if we should have tips or we shouldn't. That's a whole other conversation. I think that we shouldn't have tips. You're paid your wage, and you should accept that. And in your paycheck, it should be included. The tip should be included, right? And then after that, if the client wants to give you more, they give you more. But other than that, that's that. That's the different conversation to have in the same, thing.
I work in a bar and grill, and I love my job, don't get me wrong, and I'm good at what I do. But it is so degrading to get stiffed, to work so hard, to smile at a table with a big smile on my face despite how stressed I am, and give you good service and then get no tip. Like, I didn't just work my ass off for you. There are good days and there are bad days, and today is a bad day, and I think that the service industry needs better pay. Because lately society's just not getting it.
If a stripper makes money on good days, she makes money on good days. And on bad days, sometimes she's going to be pissed at clients. That's the name of the game. And you chose that game too, so you have to take that in consideration. But what do you think about that?
All right, so I sympathize with her because I think times are extremely hard right now. People are feeling a lot of financial pinch.
Yeah.
And so their jobs, they count on all their pay to come in and everything. And when you have bad days, you feel the stress of it. I'm going to say a few things. One, your stress shouldn't be directed at customers. It should be directed at the industry that pays you less than what you should be paid in order to do the job that you should be doing. It's less than minimum wage, right?
Yep.
Right? On some days, you make it way more than minimum wage because you're getting big tips. And some days, that's the job you decided to enter.
So
okay?
that's
average, one.
Right?
That's two. I reject the notion that tipping leads to better service. Because if you believe that, that means that you believe that everywhere else we go where we don't get tips or we don't offer tips, everyone's offering subpar service or customers. That's not been my experience. And so this idea that you are rendering a service that is somehow deserving of extra money as if it was better, I've never seen it. Have y'all? So I reject this notion that tipping leads to better service. That is fucking cap. What it leads to is entitlement. That's what it leads to. I've seen servers get upset at people for not tipping. Guess what? Bro, I look at the bill. She mad and there's no tip. There's a gratuity.
That's already included in the... Yeah!
Nigga!
Speak on it. Yep.
How you gonna expect a tip when you've already included a tip? I tip every time I go out because that's a social norm. All right, I'm not going to be out here looking crazy at a
You're not
restaurant.
going to be a fucking host.
Okay,
right?
I just reject the notion that it makes the service better or that this is how it should be. Like everywhere else around the world, they work it out with no tips expected, but you want to act like here this shit's normal. This is what we've established as a system. It's a stupid and broken system. I play by the rules because I live here, okay? But I don't make any illusions about, oh, the server, it's not. And you're lying to yourself if you think it is. I know servers who work at some restaurants where they're making more than like people working in medical fields, people working in like they make a lot of money doing service work. That's the highs. Guess what? Somebody got to experience the lows. But don't get mad at the regular customer when your employer is not subsidizing your wage. That's their mistake, not ours. That's all I'm going to say.
But it is so degrading to get stiffed, to work so hard, to smile at a table with a big smile on my face despite how stressed I am.
You have to smile at customers and pretend like your day is good. Welcome to having a job.
Is it because
Like no. Welcome to having a job. Whose job do you think goes into work not feeling great and don't have to smile and offer good customer service?
I think that's America. Cause that's one thing, like we did the video on America, good and bad and shit. But sometimes the service in America, Jesus Christ, do you even like your job? Do you even like your job?
Probably they don't. And understand life is hard. But like that's welcome to having a job. I sympathize. Because I understand where it's like when you're not making money and you stress about your bills. But understand, venting this shit at regular people as if they're the ones, they might be, listen, oh, if you can't afford it, you shouldn't go to this spot. Or maybe you guys just make a better system, to be honest with you. What if you just did that? Because I go to restaurants in Europe all the time. They don't have this bullshit. So why is that a case here?
They don't.
I don't know. To me, it's like you got a busted system. You're expecting it to work for you. It hasn't for a very long time. It likely won't in the future as things get harder financially. I know. I'm not mad at the frustration because I think it's unfair that you get paid $4 an hour because people didn't tip or whatever it is.
That's crazy.
But it's also because you just didn't get paid properly by your employer. That's the truth of the matter. So that's how I feel about it. Anything else you want to say?
Like the employer that employs you relies on the customer to pay your wage. No, that's his job. That's his job.
That's weird.
That's his job. So no, it's not his fault. I know it's the customer that don't pay. No, the customers pay your boss, and your boss pays you. That's any job. That's any job.
True.
But hey, it is what it is. Every time I go to New York and I go to places and I'm like, yeah, I say, what would you like? I say, yes, please, and thank you. And they're like, you're not from around here. I'm like, well, yeah, but what? Because I'm polite. They're like, yeah.
And you know what kills me? This is such a backwards mentality. I used to, when I was 17, I used to work a sales job. It was basically minimum wage, but if you sold a lot of units, you get extra money.
Yeah.
And nigga, there was weeks where I was top seller for consecutive months. I was getting that money. And there was other weeks where like, yo, niggas' pockets was tight. They couldn't have money to offer to buy stuff, or it wasn't a good time period for them. So I was not making no bonuses. And that paycheck looked a little dusty.
And look meek.
Okay. I didn't sit there and think, man, fuck these people. Yo, get your money up, you broke. I thought to myself, I got to work harder to be able to make these sales so that the next month my shit is super tight. Getting mad at the regular folks for not being able to buy into how you get your extra income seems stupid to me. Get your service up there.
But it's not the same. A bonus is not the same thing as tipping. Because a tip is you rely on the customer to give you a tip based on the service they receive. A bonus is the company's like, hey, I made more cash thanks to you. I'ma cut you some. It's not the same thing.
It's not the same thing. It's the same category, same different degree.
Different degree,
right? Because she's making $5 an hour. I'm making $8. Okay, there's a difference there, absolutely, in terms of how much money there is. I'm getting at least a minimum wage. But what I'm trying to say is, I didn't get that extra the same way she didn't get that extra. My whole point is, your turnaround should not be, oh, something's wrong with them, they didn't give me that. You should be like, yo, how can I work harder? How can I do more?
And the thing that happened
at least that's the way I would approach it.
If it's that frequent, there is something wrong.
Yeah.
If you're in a place where it is known that you're supposed to tip, and that's why I was referencing to your boss not putting enough people on the floor, right? If you're in a spot, a workplace, in an area that tipping is a thing, and it happens so frequently that you don't get your tips, Either the service is wrong, either the food is off, either you're not enough people on the thing, so it takes a long time for people to get their plates. So I don't know. Let's think this one through further a little bit. Let's give it a little bit more thoughts on that one.
Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you guys agree, disagree? Do you feel like we were unfair? We want to hear from you.